Paint's dry. Not too bad of a morning. There were some stars and stuff when I came out. This pin went in okay. I know there's some paint in the holes because, that's what I did. I had a hard time finding washers. The ones to make the pin, I hate to use those for it, but that's a hard washer. I just turned the end of the pin down, subbed it on, welded it up. Threw a little extra weld on there just so if the washer does break out, since it's hard, if it breaks out where it's actually welded to the pin, it's capped so it can't come off. And found two other softer, they're grade 5/8 washers, and bored them out to 1 inch, one for each pin. I'm not worried about the bottom. I gotta put the clip on this one yet. There's room for a washer on the bottom, but there's no sense in putting one there because it's not like they're gonna work up. They should work down. And having a soft washer there, anywhere will be there. Won't be on here, won't be on here, it'll be there. I mean, ideally, a washer wedged in here too, but there's not room for it. I don't even think there's room for a thin shim. Yeah, maybe a thin shim, but then you're too tight. And whatever they might be off, you won't have, it's got that much wiggle room now. If you shim it, it won't have that wiggle room. Pin fits this one really good. Almost too good. It's kind of sloppy. It ain't bad. I mean, it's got a little wiggle to it, but it's not really worth trying to do anything with. But as I said, a little paint. Yep, that one won't go in yet. So I don't know if I want to take a 1-inch drill and try to run in there by hand, or just take the reamer. I'm probably going to use the reamer. I'd show you using that, but that's kind of hard to put both hands on that and the camera, and there's no place right there to set the tripod up. But lucky, we got reamers. Actually, there's two 1-inchers. Got reamers and I can't get this thing open. Makes you look at the floor. People think it's easy doing stuff one-handed. Would be easier if it wasn't a 1-inch reamer, but 1-inch reamer weighs, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 pounds actually. But I'm hoping I can do just like this. I don't want to have to put it on a drill because that'll make more of a mess. But I did want to catch that stuff coming off with a paper towel because the paint's dry, but whatever gets stuck to it might just be stuck to it. So I'm being careful with that. And look at there, just like it's supposed to. So what I'm doing going together is I'm putting a little bit of fluid film around here, sliding the washer on, and just getting a layer. I just polished that up a little bit, knocked the big stuff off with emery cloth just by hand. I don't want to take too much off because I know things aren't tight. But hey, I'll get that on here in a minute. Let you go so I can do that. Look, I got her to do a little bit of this. This nice flat section actually went here. There we go. It was from here. So you can see where I can see myself. This wide. All the way across the face of the radiator was flat. I don't have one of those fancy little combs. Harbor Freight doesn't carry them anymore, and she needs to not run that down tight against the tubes, because if she messes the tube up, I'm going to kill her. So, hey, old scraper works pretty good for it. Look, a wheel and a tire. That tire's shot, though. That's the wheel that is off the buggy we're working on. And that's the pillow block that's made to mount. easier to sneak back there and measure this one. Hey, look at that. About 2 3/8. Yep. So, that's what we got. I'm going to hopefully butcher this wheel and put I need to find a piece of pipe. So that wheel will slide on. These are 9-hole Wilmars. I'm going to leave these 2 wheels the same because it leaves me a spare for the front. If I got to do something different for the back, we break one down and put it on. People have been asking. There's the rear tires that came on it. So those will be the wide ones, which will end up with this one. One reason that one's going to get butchered is it's a heavier shaft. And when you're dealing with just going to the center, I mean, you don't have as much strength because all the weight doesn't go very far from the bearing on a wide tire, but a narrow tire, it's got to go farther. So this one will be our wide tire that we're going to use. But these bearings, number one, are a little on the loose side. And number two, they're just not going to be the same. Oh, yeah, I was right. 1 3/4 inches. So I'm going to see if I can find some pedal blocks that'll fit that 1 3/4 inches, and I'll have to make they'll have a smaller footprint than these others, so I'll just take a plate, make an adapter to bolt onto them, so they'll bolt onto the chassis. And that's what we're going to do today. I really wanted both those up in the shop by now, but that isn't happening yet. Oh, and by the way, there's the skinnies for the back. Out of the shop and under a roof. I guess lets you stare at the ground, right? I ain't that mean. Look how wonderful the day is. I mean, this is 1:30 in the afternoon. Fog finally lifted. Tomorrow's supposed to be nice. Of course, today was supposed to be nice too, but... And we haven't had any rain in the last week. I can't remember what day I fixed that one. I put it back up, but I think it's only been up there since Tuesday. I don't know. Anyway, field trip. This one's in the shop. There's how good that tire is. It's sat flat in the gravel and the dirt for, I don't know, 10 or 12 years. So it kind of rotted her out a little bit. Otherwise, we'd use it. And here's the other one. I got the lock collars off. They weren't even hardly locked. Of course, both bearings are stuck. They don't want to move, so puller time. I don't feel like cutting them off or breaking them off. And wait for it. Oh, look, pretty new bearings. But I'm gonna have to put them with the locks to the inside, which is fine. Because I think it's the only way there's gonna be enough shaft. It's a little shorter shaft on the wheel we're using. We'll find out when I get it there. Apparently she hasn't played with the power puller yet.
I haven't played with this one.
This is the only power puller we have. Got it when we were working on the big bedder, pulling one of the arms off the knotter quite a few years ago. Between this and half a tank of oxygen, half a tank of acetylene, and 4 days of cussing, it got it apart. Of course, this was toward the end of those 4 days of cussing. I should hand her a wrench now. I grabbed the little DeWalt just to run it out with. Because, you're not supposed to use an impact on these. I know, guys do it all the time. We got a couple old pullers here that are pretty well screwed up from it. We're going to see if this will do it. That damn bearings I was beating on it for about 10 minutes earlier and never moved it. That's when I said, screw it. Power pulling time. I see one thing. I think she's hung up on a bolt with the jaw.
That fucking corner one.
It happens. That's loose enough, probably. You just got to back your other off. You got to back it off. Anybody that hasn't used one of these, and you've cussed a lot of pullers, oh, posi lock, that's what it's called. I think I got power puller written on the
No.
box. No, it says pause lock on there. Okay. No, these things are the cat's meow. They make them bigger and they make them smaller. This is kind of upper mid range. Get it in the center. There you go. A lot of times I'd like to have a smaller one too, but this one gets small enough for most stuff. But the beauty is you're not trying to hold those jaws on, and you can actually get down to business. And something's either going to give or break. As long as it ain't the puller, we're good.
Well, I guarantee you it'll break.
That's why I let her have the small wrench. See? Hey, look at that. That just popped loose.
I'm just gonna take it off.
I don't know.
like this
I don't know if you heard that or not, but it went pong. That's the sound I was waiting for. Yeah. I really should give her a little secret to this before she gets too far. Smear that around the bottom side. I don't want to get my fingers dirty. Probably should have done that first. It'd help, but it'll still help. She just got to pull it a little farther. I need power puller or posi lock, whatever it is. I need them to sponsor me. And these things
sponsoring me. I'm the one doing the work.
These things aren't cheap, see, and I could get one of every size. I'd get some hydraulic ones, and then she wouldn't be whining. Maybe they make an air operated too. I got a battery operated, but like I said, I don't like beating on them. This one don't beat that hard though. Almost out of what?
I don't have any more pull in me.
She's running out of oomph.
I am. It's getting too different time.
Well,
That's all I
like I say, at least it's on a small one, right? I'm going to let you go for that. You don't want to listen to all that noise anyway. If you're like me, that was probably 10 times louder than what you were listening to.